It's frantic stuff at the moment. Seamus Callan is there with Bonner-Mar. Callan can't get it under control. It's come back out to John McGrath. They take a point from the attack. If he offered it to them, there it is.
Yeah, we have a championship match now, Dara, you know, much better pace to it, and John McGrath did the right thing there. That goal chance had gone. Bonner-Mar racing through. Looked for Seamus Callan. It was the wrong option really, because Callan is covered by 3 or 4 players, and Kevin Moran is down injured there at the moment. But really the pace for the last 5 minutes have been much greater, much better championship match, and Tipp just moved back to 5-point gap now. But they rocked a little bit, and Waterford throwing caution. We know they have nothing to lose, 14 men, and you often find that, you know, that brings its own momentum to a team, and Tipp will have to be measured and assured now in where they play the ball from now on.
And here's one of these incredibly talented Tipperary under-21 All-Ireland winning team from last year. Oh no, it's Robert Byrne who is in, wearing number 18. There's 3 of them on the Tipperary bench. 9 of that 21 team are part of the extended 40-player panel at the moment. So Robert Byrne from Portrush is on, wearing number 18. It's Dan McCormick who's gone off.
Yeah, and he's normally plays in the half-back line. I think he's taken up the position there over near the right half-back, kind of right side of midfield.
Bonner-Mar. Back out to Michael Breen. Breen couldn't get hold of the shot, and Stephen O'Keefe happy to see it go harmlessly wide. It's a little bit of a breather at the minute. We all needed that, maybe.
Well, you'll be expecting Tipp that time when Michael Breen got that, somebody to shoot out and give him an option. Breen looked up and saw nothing, tried a shot, basically was half hooked, and the ball just tailed harmlessly wide. 5 between them.
Waterford haven't really been able to get the ball in on top of Maurice Shanahan. Tipperary getting the defending work on the money here. James Barry. And Barry held on to it too long.
Yeah, so I'd like to see that again, Dara. I didn't think that was too much, you know. I think he tapped the ball into his hand and took a few steps. But, just came in too early there, or too late, sorry. James Barry incredulous. I thought it was a little quick, but Waterford, I'm sure, won't be complaining. Another easy chance now for Pádraig Mahony to knock it back to 4.
And Waterford are going to bring Shane Bennett in.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about Shane Bennett was that 2 years ago, when they made a run to the All-Ireland final, in my eyes, Shane Bennett was the best forward they had. Didn't play last year for some reason, and you know, I'd stick him right in the edge of the square. He has great pace, he has an eye for goal, and he's very difficult to contain.
Pádraig Mahony's point has gone over. Quarter of an hour play, just about. 4 points between them, and one Bennett replacing the other. Stephen off, Shane on.
Yeah, and he'll be used to, you know, they've a 2-man full forward, and he'll be used to playing that role from his time from 217 to 215.
James Barry. Shane Bennett put him under a bit of pressure as he played the ball down. Bonner-Mar, position he normally thrives in. There was no foul there. Referee lets play develop. It's come out to Seamus Callan. That one's wide though. You have Hawkeye here, but you don't need it.
Incredibly, Seamus Callan has no score on the board yet. You know, 50 minutes gone. That was almost his first shot. But I noticed that Tipp are bunching an awful lot instead of spreading Waterford out and you know, playing the ball to each colleague. When the ball comes up, they're very, very bunched.
Now we're following Pádraig Mahony. Jack Prendergast, out of picture on this near side, made a brilliant run forward. Here's Jamie Barron, speaking of brilliant runs forward, and he's been fouled by Michael Breen. They're 4 points down currently. They've got a free in. This goes over. There's a goal between them.
Jamie Barron played for the free that time. I think he was under pressure. He was looking for a little bit of space. Michael Breen was following him, and if we see it here now, that's Pádraig Mahony, probably fouled, but Jamie Barron took the ball on. Little pull there from Michael Breen. Watch Jamie Barron here now. Just a little turn there, and you know, won the free, and delighted with it. And 3 points in there after this, I think, Dara. But Tipper really, you know, they want to close down or open up their forwards and close down the defence a little bit.
Pádraig Mahony, if this goes over, it'll be point number 9 for him. Pádraig Mahony with the blow of having Conor Gleeson sent off towards the end of the first half. Well, he's got a reaction out of his players, and well, they have to continue it, because 2 defeats in a row would really make it very, very difficult for them to finish in the top 3. Tipp were 8 points ahead at one stage. Just over 22,000 people here at Semple Stadium in Thurles. After about 30 minutes, I'm sure they thought they were watching a foregone conclusion, but Pádraig Mahoney sends the ball over the bar. So now a goal between them. Waterford have struggled to get goals. They've Maurice Shanahan in there. Shane Bennett's in there as well.
Yeah, and I think that Tipp have Barry Heffernan as a centre-back. I think they might be better off moving Tony Marr back out there and leave Barry Heffernan play as a spare man.
Now it's Noel McGrath, and McGrath was put through by Seamus Callan. Callan hasn't scored, but setting up the point there. Callan got 1-4 last week. Noel McGrath has been very good. Quarter of the match left.
Callan back out centre forward, and Bubbles gone to full.
21-17. Tipperary's 21 is Barry Heffernan. Now that's Ronan Marr, 2-on-2 back in there. That's a really outstanding bit of defending by Caleb Lyons, his championship debut. Great catch.
Yeah, played full back against Galway in the league semi-final, and well used to it. A great catch, but again, that type of ball going into Tipp forwards, all it does is condense the play. They should be moving it in short and low and isolate.
Now look at this one as Morris goes up after that, and it broke nicely for Pádraig Mahoney, who just drifted back towards that clump of players and was able to do that. So 4 points between them. Clyde de Burke couldn't hang on. Bonner-Marr, now Seamus Callan. This looks menacing. Callan with the pass across to Bubbles. He managed to get it out of his feet. Goal chance, Jason Ford. They scored a really slick goal against Cork last week, and that was slick. And maybe that's put down the Waterford revival now.
Well, Dara, if you look back at that sequence of play, really, Patrick Bonner-Marr did superbly well. Just in a forest of players, 3 Waterford players, and he caught that ball and then released Seamus Callan. Just the replay came in a bit too late there, but his pass set off Seamus Callan. Lovely pass to Bubbles, nice little flick, and after that Jason Ford doesn't miss those, but a super strike and gave Stephen O'Keefe no chance. And that came just at the right time for Tipp, pushed them back to 7 points up again. But that's the type of thing that Tipp can do, and they had a bit of space, move the ball to each other, make it one-on-ones and run at the Waterford defence, and there's goals there for them.
Yeah, and the home supporters here in Thurles, the majority of the 22,000 people who came here to watch the game, very, very happy now. But there is an issue for Waterford to deal with. It's Philip Mahoney isn't going to be able to continue.
Just watch this now, 3 Waterford players, and look, Patrick Bonner-Marr comes over that ball, right? That was a fantastic catch. That's what he brings to the game, and just released Callan. Not the best passes across the bubbles, you'd like it face high, but when it's flicked onto Jason Ford, no chance for Stephen O'Keefe. He's a great finisher. Watch it here now, Patrick Bonner-Marr just knocked it down into his hand, and away he went. Fantastic piece of skill, but this player has huge heart. I was always very impressed with him, I must say, and one of the Waterford, Shane Nulty, I think, coming off now, right? Or it's Callum Lyons, I think, coming off.
Philip Mahoney, I think, and it's going to be Kieran Bennett to come on in his place.
Just Callum Lyons. Callum Lyons is coming off his blood, but I think he'll go back on straight away.
Yeah, so Philip gone off, and Caleb Lyons is going to come back in wearing number 32.
This break and play suits Tipp as well, Dara. Just after that goal, kills the bit of momentum that Waterford were building up. Waterford had increased the pace, and they must start all over again now.
And it makes Waterford think about it even more when they were in the full flow of reeling Tipperary back in, and everything came a lot easier. Shane McNulty is going to come into the Waterford team, or he is in. Caleb Lyons hasn't gone back onto the field. That was brave by Jack Prendergast. Tipperary still have it. Michael Breen and now Barry Heffernan. Brendan Maher, remember, went off at half-time with a knee injury, and the shot has gone over the bar. Really nice score from Barry.
Yeah, nice bit of interplay there by Tipp. No pressure on them again, and they just moved the ball with sharp passes. And lovely point. Barry Heffernan is well capable of scoring from 90 metres out. So Waterford have to start all over again now.
Yes, they do.
And Tipp can afford now to drop their defence back a little bit and force Waterford to go for points maybe, and just make sure then that their attackers have plenty of space. Poor puck out there by Stephen O'Keefe, really. Like, he gave Kevin Moore no chance. During the league, Dara, just watching Tipp a few times, they when they were ahead, they failed to close out games. Now I think they'll close this one out, but that'll be a very important learning process for them as they go further on in the year.
Great hands from Jason Ford. Lovely finish. You could watch that sort of stuff all day. Just simple, take the ball under control, turn over the bar.
Well, when you have a Tipp, when you have a forward line as talented as Tipp have, you should be looking for one-on-ones the whole time. Knock the ball down between a forward, give him the advantage between himself and his man marker, and then let him do the rest. Particularly, when they close down the space, that militates against good play.
So now Caleb Lyons is back in, and Shane McNulty's gone back off. So Shane McNulty was probably a bit hard done by not to get a place in the full back line. He played well in Walsh Park last week, but Caleb Lyons, certainly no question or doubt about his involvement. He's been very impressive.
I'm just looking at Willie Connors there, number 19 for Tipp. Darry giving a bit of instructions. He's going to come in, I think, just to shore up the half-back line possibly, and to run the ball. Very good at keeping possession.
He's going to come in next time we get an opportunity.
Well, now just that quick sideline went astray there. A quick one from Noel McGrath to Ronan Mara, went straight back over the line. Tipp were guilty of that, I think, in the first half, in the last 5 minutes, and they want to make sure they're very steady from now on.
James Barry out in front of Maurice Shanahan. Waterford haven't scored in about 6 minutes. So here come Tipperary again, and you know the end result. Predictable once they found that gap, and Waterford, after Michael Breen's impressive point and a very impressive display from Michael Breen. There's Willie Connors on for Noel McGrath, who put a serious shift in again.
Yeah, Noel McGrath, very, very good display. Played very sensibly. Came back to the left half-back position a number of times in the first half, and just with time and space, he'll murder with his deliveries forward.
Tipperary running up another big total. And that was the view in the studio at half-time. Well, from Donal Oak particularly, Tipperary can win by as much as they want, and they're setting about that now, having got through a sticky enough patch. This is Jason Ford. Ford launches it in long. John McGrath went around the back. That was an important touch by Noel Connors to take it away from McGrath. Jamie Barron with the clearance. Is there a goal in Waterford to set it up for a grandstand finish there? Well, they need more than that, but Tipperary in no mood to give it to them. Here's Barry Heffernan, scored a really nice point a few minutes ago. Bonner-Marr, that angled ball across. He's on the 45-metre line. Bonner-Marr drops it short to Stephen O'Keefe. Maurice Shanahan and James Barry, and Maurice ends up on the deck. Had to get rid of it. Barry Heffernan picks up the loose ball. Willie Connors with the clearance for Tipperary. Jason Ford in the mood for more scores. His goal, the key moment in the second half. Bubbles O'Dwyer racing, but in vain to keep the ball in play.
The idea was very, very good from from John McGrath. Bubbles had to hurry up looking for the pass, and if that ball had been played inside him, you know, he was straight in on goal.
Brian O'Halloran is coming in for Pádraig Mahoney.
An extra little bit of pace by Waterford for Brian O'Halloran, but at this stage I think it's just a case of that, you know, damage control.
And even that isn't working too well as Michael Breen continues to run riot around the middle of the field in the 62nd minute.
He's been very impressive all day, and just looking at Jamie Barron, his you know, his forward runs, which are trademarks, I think got away with 1 or 2, but he's been well policed in the middle of the field. And you know, at this stage, Tipp will, you know, it will be target practice for the last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah, Tipperary 1-5 without reply, and Waterford's last score was a Pádraig Mahoney free in the 52nd minute. That got them back to within 3, but it's been all Tipperary since then. Here comes Jamie Barron for Waterford, though. The support inside. Barron went for it himself, I think, but Maurice Shanahan was in a decent position. There was also help from Shane Bennett, and Jamie, well, went for it himself, but it didn't work out for him.
The problem there is that when you come in along the end line, when you come too far, players can't enter the small parallelogram, you know, before the ball, and he was in so close, he needed to angle that ball back out a little bit, and it resulted in sideline for Tipp. But a bit of a let off, but really it's just a case of Tipp killing the pace of the game now, right, and winning this one.
Less than 7 minutes to go. Ronan Marr. Well done, Willie Connors and Bonner Marr.
This player, he's exceptional the way he picked that ball there, Bonner Marr. Excellent, but gave away the pass too early.
Now this could be interesting. There's a really nice ball from Kevin Moran into the space. Austin Gleeson free at the moment, in close to goal, and he'll compete in the air with this. Barry Heffernan is back with him. Austin Gleeson couldn't hold on to it, fell heavily, and Tipperary, with some tidy defending, able to repel Waterford, and here they come again. Not content with a lead of a really big margin at the moment, and it's growing. John McGrath, another fine point.
Yeah, 5th point of the match, and when that ball comes like that at pace, just hops in front of a player of John McGrath's ability, nothing the cornerback can do really, just to turn, knocked it over the bar, and he's looking a lot sharper. The word from Tipperary before the first game against Cork was that he wasn't going too well, but you know, I think he's back to his sharpest best now.
There's a lot of them that are. Ronan Marr. Alan Flynn. Barry Heffernan. And Jason Ford. Noel Connors just couldn't keep up with him. Ford is still full of running and full of artistry from out the field. 127 to 17 points. It's another huge tally.
We were talking before the game about you know, Tipperary saying their subs didn't make much of an impact last week, but you'd have to say that Willie Connors, since he's come in, he's just operated on the left flank of defence there, sort of a left midfield role, and wonderful ovation now for John Bubbles the wires he comes off, right? Another super shift by him.
Dunford is on the Waterford team. Jake Morris replacing John O'Dwyer. So 2 of the 2018 under-21s on the field for Tipperary at the moment. Waterford with the man down, Donald, and you know, to get back to within 3 points from where they were, it took a massive effort in the 52nd minute, but the scores have just dried up since then. The Ford goal was a real killer blow. It came just 2 minutes after Waterford got back to within a couple of, or to 3 points.
Yeah, your energy is finite, and you need scores to maintain it, and you know, once that, I think a free broke the momentum there, and Jason Ford got an excellent free, and from then on I think Tipp were motoring.
Oh, well, John McGrath just tried to flick the ball into the unmarked Seamus Callanan. It was always going to be a huge ask for Waterford with a man down to come from 6 points down at half-time.
Well, to be fair, Darragh was always going to be a huge ask to them, even with 15 aside, you know, and I think just before half-time, Tipp definitely dropped their focus a little bit, and but they've been playing well within themselves since then.
Colin Dunford's effort comes back off the post. Tipperary first to react. Tommy Ryan has done his bit today, there's no question about that. Brian O'Halloran for Waterford, and that is point number 18 and their first since the 52nd minute.
Yeah, but Tipp will be happy enough with that. Just concede points from far out the field. You know, it's 3 minutes plus injury time now, and you know, you'd have to back Tipp at this stage just to go through the motions and just close out the game a little bit.
Well, after a horrible Munster Hurling Championship in 2018, they are on course for 2 wins out of 2 as Robert Byrne puts the ball wide, the Tipperary substitute.
Yeah, and they should be, Tipp at this stage, when they get the ball on the middle of the field, they should try and feed their inside players, you know, John McGrath, you know, Seamus Callanan, and Michael Breen has drifted in, you know, and Jake Morris. They have plenty of pace. That should be, you know, I think that's one thing that Liam Sheedy might be unhappy about, that when they got chances around the middle of the field, every time they get it, knock it straight into the full forward line.
Willie Connors has seen a lot of the ball since he came in. So has Barry Heffernan.
Yeah, and that was excellent play by James Barry as well. Just you know, competed with Morris, just knocked the two of them off the ball and left it there for Willie.
Morris, yeah, Jake Morris with the point. Sorry, Don.
That's what I was talking about, Darragh. Just knock the ball into the full forward line, you know, knock it into their zone, and if you give the forward the advantage, you know, Waterford full back, they now have their tongues hanging out at this stage because they've been under so much pressure, and every time that Tipp get the ball, they should be just knocking in short to Callanan or to John McGrath or to Jake Morris. Plenty pace in there, and you know, they'll get the scores.
There's Ger Brown for Patrick Bonner-Marr. Well, they'll both be glad of the 2-week break that they'll have. Not out again until June the 2nd. Tipp and Clare at Ennis, Waterford and Limerick in Waterford. Jamie Barron's free for Waterford. Well, that's a brilliant catch, absolutely outstanding stuff from Shane Bennett, but it's just really in the hope of a consolation score or 2 at this late stage of the match. Maurice Shanahan has been starved of the right type of ball, really, since he came on at half-time. And it's come back out to Shane Bennett, and there's another tricky angle as well. Brian Hogan with a very good save, just pure reflexes from Brian Hogan. And he'll have targeted a clean sheet, which is what they're on their way to getting now. Ger Brown, these 21s are pushing the more experienced fellas very hard. Jamie Barron towards Maurice Shanahan. He seemed to be impeded as he tried to get out in front of James Barry.
Yeah, that's called good full-back play, Darragh. You know, just make sure your man doesn't win the ball, knock it down. You have an extra man there. Alan Flynn picks it up, and that's the correct way to play it. No need to try and gain possession, and James Barry has played very, very well today.
You're still in the full-backs union then?
Oh, that's just sensible play. Pragmatism.
Now another shot rains in, and another point sails over the bar from way out the field, and Michael Breen has put on an exhibition of long-range score taking.
He's not alone that, but he's been very, very good around the middle, very steady. You know, he didn't play last year. He was injured, and excellent, and he brings an awful lot to them. Like 6 points in the middle of the field is a fantastic, all from play. That's a fantastic scoring return.
And a big tally in Cork last week, and they're not finished yet. Seamus Callanan, will he get his goal? It's gone in off the defender. Seamus Callanan, it went in off Conor Prunty. Seamus Callanan with the strike, and Conor Prunty just threw himself at it. They have goal number 2, and it is good night. 2 wins out of 2, 4 points on the board.
Yeah, that's Callan. If he gets the goal, I've got the OGs or whatever. But I must say, like, just lovely play again. Jason Ford just had a quick look up, nice little ball across to Callan and slapped it, and Prunty knocked it back into the corner.
And here they come again. This is Ger Brown, one of the young men trying to make an impression on the starting team for Ennis in a couple of weeks' time. But a fixture on that team anyway is that fella, Jason Ford. Another score, 230 to 18 points. And of course you put an asterisk beside it, 14 men and all that stuff for Waterford, but they have been irresistible in the final quarter of the game.
I think so, and I think, you know, they learned from the first half. Nothing sloppy in the last 5 minutes there, just close it out. You know, they have your foot on the opposition's throat, just press it a little harder.
228 last week. Now up at 2 goals and 30 points, and Ronan Marr makes it. Oh no, they're going to use the technology. We're going to use Hawkeye.
Well, Dickie Murphy had to wait for a long time for that, you know, so Thurles is much slower than Croke Park, so it's about a minute, and at this stage it's immaterial.
When you have it, you may as well use it.
Well, the only thing about it, you know, it's important for the other teams, because scoring difference could play a major part in this by the end of June, by the end of this series of games. But Waterford now, you know, they'll be down by, they'll have a minus 17, 18 after last week's match as well, and that's as good as a point. You really are as good as a point to the other teams.
Yeah, and we just got a glimpse of some of the Waterford subs on the bench as we wait for the Hawkeye decision. They look really dejected, and here is
and
the moment.
I can't understand, Dara, why that's gone wide, but I can't understand why, you know, this people in the hockey box, they can be mic'd up to the referee, give him the decision in half the time, and he can tell the umpire put up the flag or to wave wide or whatever, like, and the hockey decision can come then eventually. It's just too slow here in comparison to Croke Park. I know the technology is different.
Ger Brown. O'Connor's in a race, and he seemed to push Jake Morris. The referee had a glance at the watch there, but we play on. There's a minute of additional time to go. 2 wins out of 2. He's back.
Yeah, and I think the debate will start again about Austin Gleeson's, you know, where's the best place to play him. It was really, it was very tough when you're playing with 14 men playing in the half-forward line, but I don't know, is it his best position with sort of a free roll around the middle of the field? But I think that will open up again now for Waterford, but they're on the back foot now. 2 games left, one against All-Ireland champions Limerick and Walsh Park, and the other one against Cork and Páirc Uí Chaoimh.
Ronan Marr. And we're going to go Hawkeye again. It just kind of prolongs the agony for Waterford at this stage, but look, the officials, if they're not sure...
That's a great thing to have, really, Dara, you know, I mean, you know, for the players, justice is everything. I think making the right decision is everything, and you know, when we have Hawkeye and when we have that technology, as I said, it's slower down here in Thurles. The only thing is about the other games, it's not there, you know, but you would have to say that it makes no material difference except for scoring difference at this stage.
Well, just while we have the opportunity, Tipperary in the second half have run up a total of 214 to Waterford's 8 points, and really they kind of went toe-to-toe in the first quarter of the second half, if you follow me, and Waterford got it back to 3 points, and we're wide again, and that's a good distance wide. Anyway, it's wide, so we stay. They're stuck on 230 to Waterford's 18 points.
I think at this stage John Keenan might even blow it up. You know, they say that Hawkeye takes a minute or so out of the game, but I think he'll blow it up.
And there is the whistle as Donald predicted the end. And it is 2 wins out of 2. Tipperary in a very strong position after a very strong final quarter. Jason Ford was super all the way through, but his goal in the 18th minute of the second half put down the Waterford revival. And Waterford in deep trouble. 2 defeats back-to-back here in Semple Stadium in Thurles. It is finished in a big win for Tipperary. Another big total. Tipperary 230, Waterford 18 points.
Thank you, Dara and Donal. Donal Oak here beside me. Was that as good a performance as last week from Tipp? Does it cement their position as one of the real favourites for this year's All-Ireland?
Yeah, look, I think they'll be really happy. 230 is serious going. Of course, Waterford went down to 14 men in the first half, and if there's one team that you don't want to have any more space than they already had, it's Tipperary. So I think they'll be, from a Tipperary point of view, they'll be really satisfied. And they go, from a Waterford point of view, I think there's probably back to the drawing board, I'd say.
Yeah, and it doesn't get easier in 2 weeks' time either. Man of the match, there was a bit of an argument in studio, and the Munster men overruled the Leinster men.
Yeah, I suppose it was tight enough, but we went for Jason Ford. I think, 1-4 for play from the free taker, and the vision to pull on that ball back across the goal for set up Jamie for the second goal. I think he deserved it. A few contenders, all right.
Yeah, and I've been on the receiving end of some of these awards myself, and we've always probably been inclined to go for the forwards, but I thought Michael Breen, 6 points from play from midfield, was immense as well. OK,
well, it was Jason Ford who got it in the end, so let's go down and hear from him now. He's with Damien.
Jason, congratulations, 2 wins from 2, all importantly, but from a squad perspective, how important was it to back up last week's victory with another big result today?
Yeah, hugely important, we know how tight this Munster Championship is going to be, and you've seen it last year, it's a stark contrast between the way we started last year's Championship and this, so every game is going to be important, and it's important that we backed up that performance, as you said. 230
today, 228 last week. Where's this renewed vigour in the Tipperary forwards or Tipperary scorelines coming from?
I suppose we're getting scores from different players. I think we had a good spread of scores again today, so I suppose just through movement and fellas just working with each other and things like that, so just seemed to click the last 2 days and we got the score, so we're happy with that.
Congratulations, you are the Littlewoods Ireland man of the match today, and with your presentation is Aoife Caffrey, the PR manager of Littlewoods Ireland.
Yeah, lots of top performers from Tipperary this afternoon. There were a couple of top performers from Waterford as well, and we saw Jamie Barron and Pork Mahoney in the second half really try to get them back in, but then once Jason Ford got that goal, it just seemed to kill it.
Yeah, no, and we just highlighted the goal, so it was just a very long ball, but I just want to highlight here, obviously the first mistake is the Waterford gets sucked in, Tyke the Burke goes in, 2 lads in for the 1 ball, schoolboy error, but I just want to highlight here Bonner Maher's touch here. He flicks the hurl the opposite way to touch the ball out there and control it, and next thing the goal is on, and once it's up, what I like to do, Jason Ford was talking about movement and playing for one another. The space is on here. Seamus Callan hasn't scored at this stage. He could easily tip this ball over the bar. No, the goal is on. And this is the team play. Very similar to last week, over to Bubbles, into Jason Ford. Brilliant, brilliant goal. But I think that was just, and the game was over after that.
Yeah, because Waterford certainly had momentum, dear Joanne. And talk about lack of communication between 2 experienced guys in Tyke and Philip. 2 guys up for the ball. They're gone out of the half-back line. The space is there. But as Henry said, the killer instinct seems to be there. We saw it with Bubbles' ball across to John McGrath last week. Both goals today as well could have been points and taken, and would be quite happy with them. A lot of teams, but this is go for the jugular stuff.
OK, the 2016 All-Ireland champions are looking very good in 2019 as well. That's all we have from Thurles. We will be coming back, though, and then we'll be concentrating on events right here at the LIT Gaelic Grounds and hoping for yet another thriller between Limerick and Cork.